survival horror corner.
Here again during the after hours down here in the corner, where today we're talking about some old school, with a K, survival horror looking game. Now I gotta be honest, I thought the trailer actually looked pretty good, but I wasn't ready for the dramatic turn it took. The game was actually brought to my attention by my boy, Four High Heels. So it was brought up to me and I thought, hey, this looks like a game's nuts I could slob on. So I pondered it for a few days and I was like, hey, it's $10, why the fuck not? I'll cut to the chase and say, it's not good, man. And I take no pleasure in saying that. Reasoning behind this stems from really the most important part, how the game plays. I'll say nice things first because it's an indie developer and I feel kind of bad just being a total dickhead about it. The pre-rendered backgrounds are a really welcomed addition. They're almost like 3D. What I mean is you do get some camera movement that looks natural, but it's still within the confines of your typical fixed camera angle switching. It's like Code Veronica, but still pre-rendered, and honestly, I love it. I actually hope they employ something like this in the RE2 remake because, I mean, think about pre-rendered backgrounds with like some 2.5D trickery. Best of both worlds. There's a few cute nods and homages to Resident Evil which I appreciate, like checking the plant because it looks like an obvious herb yields the message, "That's just a plant." That's funny. Or the item box, it isn't actually a usable item box. And lastly, I just really like the whole concept and the idea is pretty neat too. It's a nice attempt at an old school, with a K, survival horror minigame, but there's where I have to get real. Get ready, Rainy Night Creations, for some tough love. Well, there is a story, but it's quite thin. It starts off by saying your friend got infected. Again. Again? Is he sticking his dick in the zombie's mouth? This isn't something that just happens again. I just find the addition of this word just so funny. The game starts, you get 30 minutes to complete the mystery of the mansion and cure your friend. The game has two gimmicks, randomly generated layout, and a level system where the game's description says,
You will be able to gain experience points from different actions and use them on skills you think will be more beneficial, bringing a more tactical approach compared to the games it takes inspiration from.
But I never noticed a huge change from the levels, but that's also because I could barely get past the 10-minute mark. Eventually it adds up, but I can't say it made anything more tactical because I can't even move proper. The fucking controls are just awful. I don't know how to make games. But are tank controls really this hard to make work? Why are the first 3 Resident Evil games the only games that can make tank controls work perfectly for this kind of action-y survival horror-esque game? I mean, sure, they could use a strafe button, but in terms of feel, Resident Evil 3 knows what the fuck they're doing. Just so responsive and tight. The control here feels very unresponsive when trying to turn. Like there's an exactly 22 millisecond delay between when I press left or right on the D-pad before they start turning. Yeah, that's what I need playing with controls that need precise movement. What else can I mention that doesn't fit this game style? No quick turn. That's just offensive. Even fucking Resident Evil 7 has a quick turn, and that game is a first-person perspective. Intentional? Maybe. But it's a bad choice if it is. Backup speed is slower than shit, turn arc is wide, you're automatically running, which seems deceptively nice until you realize you can't walk, only run faster. I think the sprint is a good addition, actually, and it makes for some close calls that make you go, yeah, man. Not having a walk is a disaster. This seems dumb since in most games, walking is the bane of your existence, but anybody that's played a proper survival horror game knows that having the option to walk is pretty necessary for incredibly cramped areas or to help you set up your escape path at times. Oh, I stand corrected. There is a walk. If you use the fucking joystick! What sick motherfucker uses the joystick with tank controls? Sickos. What really tugs on my dick are reviews like this. I mean, it's the only one on this game right now, but I'm talking about in general as well. Everything you loved and loathed about the classics is here. From the clunky and cumbersome tank controls, ... I wish people would stop saying shit like this. Not only is it just wrong, it just makes me assume this person literally can't be trusted on any topic ranging from grape or strawberry jelly or whether pineapple on pizza is okay. They're not clunky or cumbersome, you're bad! These are bad! There's a difference! Once you get the controls under your command, more or less, you can finally experience the rest of the game, but it doesn't look like it's shaping up much better. You get 2 characters to choose from, like the old school, with a C, Resident Evil, and each character has slightly different stats. I noticed a few differences, like the guy can take more hits, has a bit more stamina, but must have just got back from deadlift day because this fucking cocksucker takes like an extra whole second to crouch down to pick stuff up. It literally looks like when I drop shit and my hammies and back are sore and I'm just sitting there just like, oh, I gotta pick up, ow! The girl fucking sucks, dies quicker, less health, but has more determination. Woo! Whatever the fuck that means. Is she from an anime? I have the most determination! She doesn't even get Larry to carry her through the game. Aside from the gimmicky shit, it pretty much plays exactly how you'd expect a survival horror minigame. The combat is just a disaster, and that stems from 2 things. The bigger of the issues is the enemies. In a good survival horror game with enemies that can grapple onto you or stun you like, oh, I don't know, Resident Evil, the enemies give you a second before pushing your shit in again. In fact, seeing their, I don't know what word to use, delay before their next attack state is so ridiculously short that getting a shit ton of your health drained in a matter of mere seconds is common. The little liquor knockoffs are the worst for this. You like being trapped in a corner? Me too! The survival horror corner, baby.
You can't leave. You have to stay in my basement. Shh. Don't worry. I'll feed you and take care of you. Please don't go.
The fucking worst part is the second I get a gun and life is going okay, no, there are so many cheap enemy placements. I can't count how many times I walked right into a room and was greeted by a zombie. And it gets even worse when I'm trying to escape the zombie from the last room. Fucking great! I know, random, but make it random better. The second part is the fact that finding a fucking gun is just a nightmare. Guys, you mixed up how this whole survival horror thing works. You're supposed to give me a gun and restrict ammo, not give me ammo and restrict gun. I spent most of my attempts with no gun and a bunch of ammo. I also have to mention how much I overlooked the knife for a long ass while. First time, I totally missed it. The next 10 attempts, I never used it because I used my previous knowledge of survival horror games and just assumed it was worthless. Turns out, it's almost entirely necessary. I started this game off as I would playing Resident Evil. I ran around everything. Nope, you just gotta play it like Veronica.
Kill, stab.
The sad part is the game almost feels fun once you make more than 5 minutes of progress, but you're left to luck to get that well laid out level. The XP system is relatively straightforward. Do things, get EXP. You get experience for opening and closing doors, which is odd until you realize for some reason closing doors in this and every other horror game is one of the most difficult tasks known to man. You have to be at just the right spot. That goes with every interactable item in this whole fucking game. You have to be dead on balls accurate in order to pick something up or click the right thing. Jesus fucking Christ. There's no map because I get that it's randomly generated, but maybe draw the map as I explore. I can go fuck myself. Fair enough. There is a story that is about wormholes and atoms or something being at the same places at the same time, bridging gaps in the time-space continuum or something. Okay, yeah, that's what I think when I think zombies and viruses. I'd elaborate more, but since memos are random and I literally can't beat the game, I guess we'll never know. I can't recommend this game at $10. It feels like a $5 game that you should pick up discounted for $3. It's like a bonus mode ripped from a game made in '98. Take that $10 this game costs and go buy Resident Evil 2 on the PSN. Buy it again if you have it already. Unlock the extra battle mode. Bang! You get a masterpiece. And this game pretty much, but even better. Rainy Night Creations, I like what you got here in theory, but you need to step up here. I don't know what's possible in terms of updates or patches, but if you can tighten up these controls, add a bit more leeway to when the enemies can gang rape me, add a map function, and maybe start me with a handgun even if it has 0 bullets. I don't want to speak poorly of a single guy that made this with an obvious enjoyment of these kinds of games, but this costs a hearty $10. That's like a few days of groceries, or 2 packs of Oreos with some almond milk. It's it's not free. If it were free, I'd say this is a pretty solid attempt. But it's not. Okay, if it was $3, it might be worth it. I don't know, that's all you're gonna get from me.